What's up, YouTube? Captain Spaulding here with another cigar video. This is the third one I've done. This one's going to be focused a little more on cigars for people to start out with and cigar storage solutions, because some of you guys are asking. The main video that I watched this morning was ND Piper's I have some cigar questions, so this is kind of a little broader spectrum video response to that video, and hopefully it'll steer you guys in the right direction. I know I went over a lot of different stuff in the other two videos, so some of it might be covered again here. If not, if you have any questions, just email me or message me on YouTube or Google Plus or Instagram or Voxer. Alright, first thing I want to mention is cutter that I didn't talk about last time is a bullet cutter. This thing's pretty neat. It's a keychain. They have all kinds. It's just a punch. It looks like a bullet. It's a punch cutter. You take the end of the cigar, you put it in there, you just take a little plug off the end, and then you push it and it pops it out. There's a little pin in there, as you can see. So that's another option. Sometimes when I have cigars that are, if I cut the end, maybe I get a lot of bits of tobacco, I'll use this because it puts a little bit smaller hole. Something to remember: the smaller the draft hole at the end of your cigar, the more tar buildup you're going to get, the more acrid taste is going to end up in the end of that cigar. So if you start using this with really stronger cigars and you don't put a big enough hole, you can make a couple different holes. You can make 4 holes on a really big cigar. Some of the guys are into really big ring gauges, which for me is not my thing. I don't know anybody that wants to put a cigar like that in their mouth, so you know, each to his own though. Alright, so first off, cheap cigars. Everybody's looking for an inexpensive handmade cigar. I call them cheap cigars, but inexpensive is the key word here. I can't stress enough: catalogs. Get online, order a catalog. This is going to be your reference book. Every cigar they have in here, doesn't matter who they are, they have blending notes, they have obviously prices, but they're going to tell you what kind of wrapper, what kind of binder, what kind of filler, and they're going to show you how many you're getting and whatnot. Bundle sticks are your best bet for inexpensive all-day cigars. Are you going to get excuse me, the top shelf, the most amazing cigar experience you ever had out of a bundle stick? Probably not, but there's been a few that I consistently buy over the years, all the time, because they're just good. They're good everyday knock-around smokes. And if you get a bad one, you can pitch it. It costs $1. So that's one way to start. But the catalog is where you can sit and go through and you can look at different brands and you can see what the wrappers look like and things like that, because you're not going to get an idea when you go into a humidor, walk-in humidor, or a tobacco store, your brick and mortar. You're going to be overwhelmed. There's hundreds, literally hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on where you go, of cigars, just all brands, all shapes, all sizes. And like I said in other videos, not every size tastes great in every blend. But because tastes vary, you might like a size that I just abhor. So try different stuff, try different sizes. Sometimes the smaller cigars have a little more going on because you're getting more wrapper on a smaller ring gauge cigar. So depending on what that wrapper is, which brings me into wrappers. Okay, there's all kinds of different wrappers. Some people are afraid of the darker wrappers. They think they're going to be too spicy or whatever. We've got English Market Selection, which is basically a lighter colored wrapper. Just that light brown. It's kind of hard to see on this. Just that light brown, natural that's going to be your basic, where you want to start. Connecticut shade, English market selection, Connecticut shade. Start with that. I noticed you got a Cameroon nub. Awesome cigar. It is going to be a little spicy, especially if you're really new to cigars. But just make sure you eat something. And if you get a spicy cigar, always drink with it. Water. I love to drink water when I'm smoking cigars, but later at night when I have stronger cigars, I might drink a libation. Just don't, whatever you pair it with, don't drink something so strong that it overpowers your cigar. If you're smoking a nice mild cigar with a Connecticut wrapper on it, you don't want to drink a real heavy scotch or something that's really strong. You could drink a milder, like maybe a fruitier scotch, but you don't want something that tastes like lighter fluid going down and then it's going to overpower your cigar and you won't taste your cigar. It'll kill your palate. So keep that in mind. One word about Cameroon wrappers, depending on where you live. You can't smoke them outside in the winter. They will crack pretty much as soon as you pull them out of your humidor, even in your house, depending on if you have a humidifier or whatever in your home. Up here in upstate New York, we only got so many months that we can smoke Cameroon cigars. And believe me, I've tried every way possible. I've over-humidified them and then tried to pull them out. You'll get halfway down the cigar and it will split all the way up the cigar. It cracks while you're smoking it. There's nothing you can do. The atmosphere just sucks the life right out of the wrapper and it gets dry and brittle. So save your Cameroon for the summer. Cameroon's very sweet. It's a really nice, sweet wrapper. For a while, that's all I smoked. Maduro. Here is a Maduro. It's darker. Just because a cigar is darker doesn't mean it's going to be spicy. The cigar I just showed you is actually really sweet. And one word about that, the darker wrappers are usually a little oilier. If you leave them in your humidor for a couple of years, they will age nicely and mature, and they will sweeten even further with the sugars in the tobacco. You'll get what's called plume, which is, you get the same thing on pipe tobacco. And I only know this because I had some sent to me. So let's go on. There's another wrapper that's a favorite of mine, Rosado. I really like that one. Those are a little harder to find. Arturo Fuente does those. Which, Arturo Fuente is a cigar that you guys should try if you haven't, if you're new to cigars. Most all their cigars are very sweet. They're medium bodied, so you're not going to get that killer nicotine hit or anything. You could smoke them for breakfast with a cup of coffee. You could smoke them for lunch. You could smoke them for dinner, after dinner. But they have all levels in their line. They have different lines that go up in strength. One of my favorite that I always suggest to people who are beginners, I'm going to even take this out of plastic so you can see the full effect of this. This is a Hemingway Maduro Signature. It might seem like a big cigar. It's actually not that big. If you'll notice, it's a figurado shape, they call that. On the end here, it comes down to a little point. That's the end you light. The cap is solid. You would cut that either with a V-cutter. It's slightly rounded, so it's not quite a torpedo because it's not pointed, but as you can see, this one's from 2011. The cellophane is very yellow. So I've been saving that. It's going to stay in there because I'm not ready to smoke it yet, but the longer you leave them in there, the yellower the cellophane gets from the oils on the tobacco. But that's a cigar that's medium bodied, mild to medium bodied. It's very smooth. It's very well balanced. It'll smoke great all the way down to the nub. Burn your fingers, put a stick in it, finish it that way, throw it in an old cob pipe and smoke it out that way. It's that good. It's very sweet. That's the biggest thing. Is I think new cigar smokers sometimes get intimidated by that spice. You can have a complex cigar that has many levels of flavor and layers without it being a nicotine bomb or a spice bomb to where it just burns your throat. But that's where the water comes in. always drink. Keep hydrated while you're smoking, and it'll keep your throat from burning. You'll be able to smoke fuller cigars that are a little stronger than you would normally. So I'm going to go over some brands that I think are really where you can start with. We'll start with a cheapy 5 Vegas. That's an inexpensive stick that is well put together. It's pretty consistent burn. It's not anything to write home about, but it's a good solid cigar, and they have different levels through their whole line, so you can try different ones, and it's relatively inexpensive. I don't remember exactly what a stick costs, but if you buy a box or a bundle, however they come, you can usually get them pretty good on CigarBid. H. Upmann, great brand, lots of different levels. You have to look at the labels. That's where your catalog comes in. You go into a humidor to buy an H. Upmann cigar, and you could easily look at 20 different kinds of H. Upmanns and not know what you're looking at. If you bring home their full-bodied cigar and light it up and you're a new cigar smoker, it's going to turn you off to that whole line. You're going to go, oh, I don't like H. Upmanns. Well, no, you don't like H. Upmann, that cigar, but they have different levels. So when you go through your catalog, you can see which ones are the ones you should be looking for. You make a little note, get yourself a little notepad, and write it down, take it in the humidor with you. Don't be afraid to bring a notepad with you, and take notes while you're in the humidor of stuff maybe you want to try the next time, or you want to look up when you get home, either on your computer or in your catalogs. Easiest way to do it. I urge everyone to try the Arturo Fuente line. Definitely. Nubs definitely got a ton of different cigars that are really cool. They're really short. It's a short smoke. Just be careful which one you get. You could get yourself into a spice bomb that you didn't expect. So, one that's kind of a hidden gem that's made by Tatuaje is called El Trumfador. And this little guy is one of my favorite cigars. This is the last one I have from the box I bought. And this box would have cost, I think it was about 100, 125, something like that, for 20 or 25 sticks. And I got it for like 40 bucks on CigarBid. So just box after box can be had on CigarBid for less than you're going to pay, for about the same as what you're going to pay for cheap, crappy bundle sticks. So if you really find a cigar that you like by buying singles in your brick and mortar, that's where it can save you money. So maybe you'll spend $8 on that stick in the beginning, and then you'll go on CigarBid and you'll find it for half that or a third of that if you're really lucky. Ashton, the Ashton line, a little more expensive. These are premium boutique brands as far as I'm concerned. Ashton is a top level cigar. It's really expensive, but I really love it. For a mild cigar, it don't get any better. They're creamy. It's very mellow. You could smoke that without eating anything for breakfast. They have a big Churchill, and Ashton Churchill is probably one of my favorites. It's huge. It's like a big cigar like that. It's like 7.5, 7.25 inches, probably like 50, 49, 50, 52 ring gauge, something like that. I haven't had one in years, but it's good. Let's see. The Acid line from Drew Estate, flavored. The tips are dipped. I want you to throw away all preconceived notions about flavored cigars, because I talked a lot of shit about Drew Estate for a long time about acid cigars. So if I wanted to smoke potpourri, I'd go grab a bag of potpourri. Well, after 20 years of smoking cigars, I decided to try again and revisit these cigars, and I'm really glad I did, because it changed my whole mind about the cigars. It was one of my buddies who did it, actually. It's awesome. But hold on, we're going to be back. Okay, we're back. Dunhill, not a cheap stick, but not a terribly expensive stick if you can find them. Dunhill Dominican, very mild to medium, very rounded, very well rounded and balanced cigar. Rocky Patel, they've got a ton of different stuff in their range, in their line. True Estate has many, 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 many brands. They put out cigars under all different names. When you start getting into some cigars, maybe you want to get a little more adventurous, I definitely start leaning you towards the Liga Privada line. One of the best to start with, I think, is their Unico series Papas Fritas, which means crack fries, translated. Basically, these are a short filler cigar. They have a little pigtail on the top, and they're about $4 to $5 a stick. Now you're going, why would I spend that kind of money on a short filler cigar that's only that big? Well, you get about 45 minutes out of that cigar, and for that money, it has 12 different leaves in it that they separate all out for each cigar. These are the scraps they use. Short filler is cigars made up of scraps from other cigars from the long fillers that they make. Instead of taking all the big bunches of tobacco, they have stuff hanging off the ends before they cut it, cap it, and wrap it. So that's what they use. Why throw those away? They can make great cigars out of them. But they actually spend the time to separate all the leaves out instead of just putting it in a montage. And sometimes, instead of a cigar tasting one way, this one, and the next one tastes a little different, the next one tastes a little different, all these cigars taste exactly the same. And you will smoke them right down. You will put a pin on the end like a roach clip and smoke this thing to the end. I'm telling you, you will burn your lips. It's the most delicious short filler cigar. It's the most consistent that there is. There's nothing that can compete with this as far as consistency and quality. It will burn razor sharp all the way down to the end. Okay, so I'm going on. Monte Cristo, awesome, awesome line. The Cuban ones are even better. I think you'll do well with that white that you got. You're going to like that. That's a pretty good stick. Let's see. Alright. Also, check out seconds and overruns. Pretty much all the big brands have some kind of second and overrun production where they look at a cigar and they might be a blemish on the wrapper, or there's a big vein running up the side of it. Honestly, tobacco leaves have veins in them. So, is that what a $12 premium cigar is supposed to have in it? No, but if you can get that cigar for a couple of bucks, why not? I'll deal with the vein in the side. I'm just going to smoke it, right? Okay, so let's move on to storage and humidification, because that was the big question that was coming up. First thing I'll talk about is these little humidipacks. The two-way humidity control. This one here is a 72%, which is a little much. 68, 69 is really where you want it. These are great for shipping. I actually have a bigger one of these in my humidor. I have a 350 count chest humidor. But the main thing I use these for is shipping. If I send cigars to you, this is what you want to use. Throw it in the bag. Don't ship your cigars dry without anything in the plastic. I know you think that plastic Ziploc is great for them and everything, but you don't know how your cigars are being handled and stored when you ship them. You have no idea. I have gotten some shit in the mail. I bought a $15 Carlos Tirano cigar about 8-9 years ago, and when I got it, it was a dry, split, cracked turd that I got to throw in the trash. It had a giant crack all the way down the whole cigar. Now, I'm sure when it was sent out, it was in premium, pristine condition, but you don't know what states it's going through, what kind of storage, where's that truck being parked that has your cigars in the box in. So, think about that. Now, for a more permanent solution, and my favorite, the gel crystals. And these are the easiest set it and forget it things that you can ever own. You might be wondering, what is that stuff? This is kind of the same stuff that they put plants in. It's basically, it does not grow mold, it doesn't grow bacteria, it just holds on to the liquid that's in there. And the liquid that's in there is PPG, propylene glycol humidifier activator solution. And this is Cigars International. They call it cigar juice. You can buy, there's all different brands. It doesn't matter. You just need PPG juice. It's propylene glycol. That's what you need. And all you do is squirt it on these, and you don't need one of these fancy containers. They charge you more for this crap. You can go online and you can buy the gel that's in here. They come, and they're really tiny when you get them. Once you add that stuff, they will like triple in size. So don't fill this all the way up and then add the solution, or it'll go everywhere. I made that mistake. But you can make your own with a Tupperware. All you need is something that you can put holes in the top. That's all it has to have, is some holes for the solution to escape. Now what I do, I like to swap these out in and out of my humidor. I know what my humidor should be at, as far as just by picking up my cigars and squeezing them and feeling them and touching them and whatever. When these dry out, you'll feel them. They're dry. They'll turn into cardboard basically. It's not very flexible. Or when it's moist and ready to go, it'll be soft like a pillow. You take a Ziploc, you take this with your crystals in the bottom, and you put it in there, and you forget about it. You zip it up, and in a month or two, those will all be recharged. You can put multiple ones in there. Just check on it every month or so, like once a month. Put it in a dark place. You don't need to do anything special with it. But you can put those gels in a Tupperware, poke a bunch of holes in the top, set it in the bottom of your humidor. Which brings us to humidors. I used to think you need to have a big fancy wooden, with the finials and everything on it. You can keep your cigars in an old cigar box if it has a decent seal on the top. Some of the guys are making nice humidors out of these Liga Privada boxes. This is a T52 box. It's real heavy duty. It's got a kick-ass logo on top. But nice little brass, and it seals really nicely. It's got this inserts in it. But the cheapest route for a $10 bill is go to Walmart and get a nice big Tupperware container, something that seals airtight. Plastic does breathe, so just remember, if you're gonna store your stuff in there, you don't need anything special. It wouldn't be bad to get a cigar box. You can buy them on eBay. You can go to a cigar outlet and say, do you have any boxes that you're getting rid of or selling? Usually for a couple of bucks. If you buy a few cigars, they'll just throw you a box. They don't even care. It's like giving away matches for them. Usually they got more boxes they know what to do with. Unless the owner collects the boxes, then you're fucked. So just your gel crystals, a Tupperware, maybe a cigar box. You don't need anything special. Now, how do I know if my cigars are at the right humidity? Well, if you're new, you're not going to know, because you're going to be like, oh, that looks good. You're going to need a hygrometer. You don't need anything special. These are like 10 bucks, 15 bucks, something like that. This is a digital one. The one I have in my humidor is the original one it came with. I put a digital one in there for a few years, and I found that I really don't look at it. I'm in my humidor it comes wrapped in plastic. It's got sticky stuff on the back. You pull the little tab out of the battery compartment, you calibrate it, and it'll tell you digitally everything you need to know about your humidor, what the temperature is, and the humidity level. Temperature plays a part in this. If you keep your cigars in a hot-ass place, you're going to get things like tobacco beetle infestation. I know that sounds scary, but something you can do to prevent that: when you bring your cigars home from a place that you don't normally, if you go to a new store, bring them home, put them right in your freezer overnight, 24, 48 hours. It'll kill all the eggs in there, if there are any. So it won't hurt you to smoke tobacco bugs, tobacco egg, beetle, whatever. As far as, if you smoke cigars, you've smoked tobacco beetle eggs, whether you want to believe it or not. So just get comfortable with that idea. But put them in your freezer, leave them overnight, leave them for a couple days, then take them out, put them in your humidor. I personally don't like to smoke cigars right out of someone else's humidor. If somebody gives me sticks, unless I know them, mainly because I'm finicky about how I like my cigars to smoke. Some like them wetter, some like them drier. I like it just right. So I know what I like, and if I bring home cigars from a new place or I get cigars in the mail, you don't know, once again, even if there was a humidipack in there with it, you don't know how they were stored before they were shipped with that humidipack. They could have been wetter, could have been drier, you don't know. So put them in your own humidor, let them rest for a couple of weeks. They will adjust to what you keep your humidor at. If your cigars start to get too moist, take your humidification out. The wood inside will dry your cigars out. Something you can do if you go completely crazy and your cigars are just soggy, like you can squeeze them and they're almost wet, you can dry box them. It's risky, but if you do it slowly, a little at a time, you put them in an empty cigar box that's just got cedar inside of it, and you don't put a whole box inside of a box and fill it up. You put a few cigars in there and you move them around and you turn them every day, and you check them every day and then pull them out, and you can save cigars that way. There's these things called beads. They have not those kind of beads. They're kind of like the crystals. I didn't like them as much as the crystals. I felt like they needed a little bit more playing with. Sometimes they worked great, sometimes they didn't. And they were smaller, so whatever I put them in, they tended to fall out of with little holes in the top or anything like that. So I really like the gel crystals. They're a set it and forget it type of thing. You just put that little cup in there, make sure it's got some PPG solution in it, and it will keep your cigars great. The hygrometers, like I said, you don't need anything special. I don't even use one in my humidor because I just know, and I put in and pull out my little, I've got one of these in the top, a big one, and then I've got a small humidipack in the bottom, and for a 350 count humidor, but it's got enough cigars in it. If you don't have enough cigars in a big giant wooden box, it's going to suck all the moisture right out of them no matter what you do. So I just add or subtract humidity as I need it with those little gels or the packs. And I think that's about all I'm going to cover, because I've rambled on for probably a half hour now. And if anybody has any questions, just hit me up. I'm more than happy to answer them. I have a private cigar club, and I am president and founder of said cigar club. So after 20 years of smoking premium cigars, I know just enough to be dangerous. So to everybody out there, if you got questions on a specific cigar, chances are I've smoked it. I can't tell you much about Romeo y Julietas because I've never really been a fan of them. I try one every year, and there's just more nicotine in them than I enjoy for a cigar. They have great flavor profiles. Their complexity is really, it's there. They have tons of layers of stuff going on in those cigars. But, oh, one cigar you gotta find. Oliva Series G, Cameroon. Get one. You will not regret it. Anything in the Oliva line. They also make, I think Smoking Grandpa Bones had one, Flor de Oliva, which is that's their seconds line. That's their, you know, not really overrun. It's their, oh, there was a blemish on the tobacco. The cap wasn't perfectly triple crowned all the way around. You know, the foot might not be the way they like it. Just little things on the cigar that whoever's going through the process will, nope, nope, nope. So get yourself some good cigars at a cheap price. Cigar Bit is your best friend, and I'll catch up with you guys another day. Peace, YouTube. I hope this helps somebody.